The most important transformation must first transform your mind, transform your thinking. Hi, everybody. I'm Eve the Empath, your spiritual transformational specialist. Transformation must first come in the mind. Every thought that we think is an environment that's already cultivated by us. We don't have to tell our thoughts to think. We don't have to tell our brain to work. We don't have to tell our heart to pump blood through our bodies. It's automatically done. Our body lives very autonomously with a brain that works very consciously or unconsciously on what we've programmed it to think. Some of the behaviors, it's already been in our genome for centuries. The functionality of our body has already been programmed before we took our first breath. It's a lot of emphasis on the breath. It's a lot of emphasis on the breath. But that's not what I'm here for. Today I want to talk to you about something very specific. Who is your enemy? Who are your enemies? Are they physical enemies? Is it your tangible enemies like substances, eating, people? Is it your physical reality? Is it your mentality? What are your enemies? Who are your enemies? Food was one of mine. Sometimes still is. But I'm learning that the more I cultivate a healthy relationships with the thoughts that I have of food, and I speak affirmations to the thing that I am ingesting, my relationship to that thing changes. In the book, The 48 Laws of Power, Law Number 2, which I've been so graciously studying with Sunshine the Goddess in the Interfaith group on Clubhouse, we learned about that second power. And it's interesting because it talks about your friends being your enemies. At some level, on some level, people that you hold dear can be an enemy. And most likely it's the rule of proximity, right? The closer people are to you, they see you up close. Sometimes they don't like what they see and they can become an enemy, right? You can threaten their shine. You can call out weaknesses in them without even thinking about it because it's an environment that they are cultivated in. So who are your enemies? Who are your enemies? Then I started to think about how can I apply this to every area of my life? Because before anything shows up in my physical reality, before it's tangible, before it's like this water bottle or this mouse, it's first a thought. That's the environment that it's cultivated in. And then I speak it. I give it breath. I give it life. How do I change that? How do I change the narrative that I've been telling myself or allowing other people to tell me? Because sometimes we get there too, right? Sometimes we let other people program our psyche by the things that they say. And it grows. And it becomes a course of action. And then it shows up in our environment. Aren't you tired of that? Aren't you tired of giving away your keys or living on automatic for everything that filters through your mind that's not serving you? Or maybe it is. It's serving something. Maybe you don't like what shows up, but it's definitely serving something. Bread and water, filet mignon, it's serving something. So if I am to make an enemy my friend, which is what the law says, why not make my inner critic my enemy? Why not make my low believing self-thoughts my enemy? And then befriend that enemy by changing the environment that gave it life in the first place. Why not? What do you have to lose? We think that healing is tough, and sometimes it really is. It can take a toll on our physical bodies. But the toughest part is the transformation of the mind. And when you can transform that mind when you can break it up into smaller pieces, bite-sized pieces, when you can heal with other people, when you can take a workshop or read a book or study or do a journal, and that helps you to reframe the thoughts and remap your life. Isn't it worth it? It's easy to stay in this environment because that's what you know. Change is harder sometimes, but change is inevitable. The world as we know it has changed. When I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones. Ooh, we didn't have cell phones. We have any of this technology. But yet here I am, able to share intimate thoughts, transformational thoughts with you on a device without ever getting to know you. And when you think about that, doesn't that empower you to change? Right now, we're living somebody else's dream. What about your own? If you haven't joined me yet, go ahead and sign up for one of my workshops. Inner Critic, Inner Child, Tantric Talks, they're all beneficial. They help you to reframe your life and to map out a different course. Why? Because you matter, and your presence on this planet matters, and the world here wouldn't be the same without you. But sometimes you don't even know that.